Grifting on the internet ain't easy. Sometimes you are so out of ideas about how to gouge money out of your audience, you pretend you are running for president of a country you are not allowed to run for president in. Something even the incredibly dumb audience you have cultivated is aware of, so it's failing hilariously. Sometimes your grifting is so hated from all sides, a fake story about the country you live in, arresting you for treason and sentencing you to expire, unites the entire internet in celebration. Sometimes you're just Tim Pool. But let's get on to today's topic, and that is a person called Keffals. Now, I've been documenting Keffals' crimes for many years on this channel, but for anyone unfamiliar, Keffals began life on the internet as someone who used bots to ratio famous people on Twitter. Now, this caught the eye of a drama website called Kiwi Farms, as that kind of behaviour is of course very lame and pathetic, so they started doing some background checks. And it turned out Keffals was involved in a lot of creepy weird stuff, namely running a Discord server for children called the Catboy Ranch, where he talked to them inappropriately and sent them out catboy collars. Keffals is nearly 30 years old, by the way. And then there's Keffals' very close friendship with a character called Bob Posting, who liked to brag about pink pilling children, i.e. sending them DIY HRT, a crime in all countries. Because obviously some gooner online, like Keffals, isn't allowed to send your 10-year-old son drugs. But Keffals was a very, very vocal supporter of Bob Posting's website, the HRT directory, saying many times how they were proud sponsors of the website on Twitter. Here's Keffals' very, very close friend, Bob Posting, bragging about how they got 1,000 children on HRT. Oh, here's the boxes the HRT got sent to the children in. Notice the keep out of reach of parents sticker on there. Some of the bottles got sent with hair in them as well, because this is bathtub HRT made by idiots. The children have to inject this stuff, by the way, so that's nice and sanitary, isn't it? Oh, and Keffals was also a fart dominatrix wannabe porn star. Just gonna throw that in there. Now, Keffals did not like Kiwi Farms documenting and archiving all of this evidence, because despite what Keffals might say publicly to their audience about how cool this all is, in reality, Keffals understands grooming children and sending them drugs are actually serious crimes and would not be perceived as a good thing by the wider public should this get out. So instead of stopping committing crimes like a normal person, Keffals decided to have a huge tantrum about everything and paint the website archiving all the incriminating things they were saying, Kiwi Farms, as the bad guys, and started the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, which became a huge thing on the internet for a week or so, resulting in Kiwi Farms being dropped by CloudShare and causing them endless problems, which they overcome, and everything's fine now. But Keffals wanted to be famous, and none of the stuff they themselves were doing can be allowed to come out. Now, all of this controversy will get you some enemies, and someone called the Canadian police on Keffals, and they came round to him and his mother's house and burst in with assault rifles. Oh wait, that was a lie by Keffals. They came around and knocked on the door and had a chat. But that didn't matter to Keffals, because the grift was on and the GoFundMe was started, where Keffals raised over $100,000 on the proviso they were going to sue the police for swatting and misgendering them, which has never actually happened. But he did get addicted to cocaine around the time of getting $100,000 for doing absolutely nothing, which I'm sure is just a coincidence. Anyway, fast forward to present day, and Keffals' celebrity is fading. The truth of the matter is, Keffals is a terrible streamer. The streams are mainly dead air and speaking in a monotone voice. The audience is dwindling, and the only thing they can do is latch onto drama to boost the numbers. So when fellow streamer Vaush got caught jerking off to CP, well, there's a great opportunity for Keffals to have something new and fresh to get some donations from. Unfortunately, Keffals is not very bright, and instead of laughing at the guy who was making hilarious excuses like he thought the children in his cheese pizza were goblins, Keffals sided with him and tried to make it all about Keffals, which led to huge shows like the H3H3 podcast laughing at Keffals and calling Keffals a PDF file for siding with Vaush, which is correct. Which in turn led to Keffals making a cope video trying to own Ethan Klein because he made some edgy jokes in the past, which is slightly different to flirting with 10-year-olds and sending them catboy collars. But that video got ratioed because even people who once supported Keffals can see through this "wah, I'm a constant victim" act, because if you are the victim 100% of the time, in multiple different situations, you're probably the actual problem in reality. Oh, and Ethan Klein of the H3H3 podcast played Keffals' gotcha video to 50,000 live viewers, and the video sits on over 500,000 total views, and he was laughing at how stupid it was. And then Keffals' want to make everything all about themselves really came back to bite him in the ass when the H3H3 subreddit started doing some digging on Keffals' background, and they found out about the Catboy Ranch, all because Keffals simply could not stop trying to make themselves the center of attention about literally everything. Now, let me explain the magnitude of this. This isn't you or me, intellectual shitposters on the internet who seek out funny people making fools out of themselves to laugh at as a hobby. This is the H3H3 podcast. This is super mainstream. This is the internet equivalent of you being the main headline on the evening news on MSNBC. This is peak exposure, and for all the wrong reasons. Well, when I say peak exposure, that was a lie, because once that news dropped, other huge mainstream content creators started finding out about Keffals, and Mutaha of the Someordinarygamers YouTube channel with nearly 4 million subscribers started tweeting out to his nearly 1 million followers on Twitter about the Catboy Ranch. Now, this is a bad situation to be in when all you care about is clout and scamming idiots out of money, so a normal person would probably regroup, talk to some people about what to do, not reply to anything, and at least sleep on your response. What you definitely don't want to do is make a cringe joke and give your new, much more popular rival an opportunity to not only expose you as a groomer of children, but a criminal who stole $100,000 to his huge audience. You definitely wouldn't want to do that at all. You might end up regretting it and deleting the tweet, but it's too late by then. Well, this led Keffals to man the dilation stations and go into ultra panic mode and revert back to the old faithful, being a permanent victim at all times, crying about Kiwi farms and how all of the information about the crimes they committed and bragged about on the internet that website just archives is misinformation, when it's literally just things Keffals has said. But that wasn't working anymore. Everyone has started to see what Keffals really is, a manipulative liar who will do and say anything for clout and money. And everyone was really starting to ask about where did that $100,000 go from the GoFundMe. So Keffals tweeted this out. Before I put up my GoFundMe, I had a lawyer help me write and set it up. The funds were for moving expenses. I moved twice. Yeah, that's a few $100s. It's no big cost, really. Recouping my losses, I had to take extensive periods off work and I'm an employer. At the time of setting up the GoFundMe, Keffals was an unemployed NEET who lived with their mother, getting absolutely no views on YouTube or Twitch. He had no employees at all. Legal expenses, my legal case has been filed and ongoing. Oh, really? It's not a legal case though, is it? As you say here, it's a human rights tribunal case. And what would you know? They are free to file. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need anything. They're totally free. It's also a bit weird that if you talk to a lawyer about setting it up, how it started off as asking for $20,000, but because the grift was going so well, you kept on raising the goal till it got to $100,000. It's almost like you didn't speak to anybody about the GoFundMe and that you just wanted to steal as much money as possible from everyone so you could buy cocaine or something. I don't know. This tweet was also deleted as the lies simply were not working anymore. So yeah, this is the tale of someone who simply could not keep their mouth shut and who had total inability to not insert themselves into every little bit of drama, which led to them being exposed to the mainstream for all the wrong reasons. It couldn't have happened to a nicer person. So be careful with what your kids are doing online. These types of people prey on almost exclusively children. They have only their own gratification and extracting money in mind. I hope you all stay safe out there. Except for Keffals. Fuck that guy. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and share, subscribe to see more content like this. Thanks, boy.